Good morning, everybody. This is Brother Todd. It's Friday morning. Rain's just kind of let up. Been waiting on it to get done, get a little bit of work done. I know some of y'all been getting these a little bit late. I've been kind of fighting the little email gremlins in this phone, but anyway, they'll help me get through it a little bit. But I'm just sitting here, been waiting on this rain, try to get this work done, and I was thinking about how good it is that we have work. God works and we work. And work is one of those things that when you get it done can make you feel so satisfied. Jesus said he wanted to do his Father's will and to finish his work and to complete it. And when you only really with you working, you only really get that full sense of completion when it's when you get it to a done spot. And I was out earlier. I was over by the house, was going to make this recording, and my grandkids come out, and three of them, and they were. I was watching their mama tend the garden and tending them and doing all those kinds of things with them, and I about started this recording, and they got to running about, hollering and playing and all that kind of stuff. So I thought I'd drive down here by the barn. But I was watching her work. I was watching her tend that garden. I was watching her raise them kids, and I didn't say a word. They didn't even know I was out there. And she's tending about, and little boys being what they are. You know, I had old Granny tell me one time, said the hardest thing in the world is raising boys when they're little, and/or girls when they get a little bit older. And so them boys is everywhere, and she's herding them around and got things to do and got things on their mind, just like everybody else. And but yet just kind of moving through, and I was grinning to myself, and I said, well, one day that work's going to pay off, because one day that work with them boys is going to come in, and you're sitting there making sure they're good little humans, and teaching them not to be selfish and all those kinds of things. That's the kind of work it ultimately pays off. And that's the real work we're all involved in. It's eternal work, whether it's the work of the church or the work in our homes. The one thing's true. The only thing going to heaven from this earth is the souls of men and women, boys and girls. Paul told the church there that they were his crown of rejoicing. They were the crown. They're the reward. And what we get to put into people is what matters. And but dealing with people in our families, our friends, our church, it's like sometimes like work. It can be something that drains your strength. And then you get to a point where you don't know if you have strength to keep it up. I know some of you right now are feeling a little bit overwhelmed. I'm getting those kind of reports. You're there with the house, and you're dealing with the kids, and finances are messed up. We've had a lot of folks in our church get laid off, those kinds of things. And, we got those strains, and it's all working on us. It's all depleting us. And I thought about how the evil one, he'll come along, him and his group, and they try to keep us from accomplishing things. They try to keep us from accomplishing things that really matter. I did a study one time through the Word. The Word says that we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. In other words, ignorance, not stupidity. It's the absence of knowledge. You haven't been in a situation where you've been taught something, but the Word says we're not ignorant of it. So that means that God has given us what we need to know about the devils and their group's devices. And I studied through, I don't know, depending on how you kind of split it up, there's 14, 16 different specific things that they'll do to try to take your strength so that you can't get any work done, whether it's, delays, or it's distractions, or it's discouragements that lead to depressions and those kinds of things. It's all geared around one thing, and that's getting your strength. If it can get your strength, it gets your capacity to do work, whether it's spiritual work, whether it's physical work, mental work. How many of you right now, with all this time you might even have on your hands, saying, boy, if I felt better, I'd do this or that, or if I could. And knocking one of my ponies is tired of me sitting here and not giving them some feed. So I'll be owing them a bill here in a minute. But the reality is it's all geared to keep us from being able to accomplish. And so what do? I talked a little bit about strength the other day, but Isaiah said in Isaiah 40 said, they that wait upon the Lord will renew their strength. They'll be able to mount up with wings of eagles. They'll be able to run and not get weary, and they'll be able to walk and not faint. And those are three types of opportunities. Or three, well, not opportunities so much as realities. Sometimes you need wings to fly over days of adversity. I've dealt with too many people in my own life. I've dealt with so many people through death and things like that, where they look back at me and 2 weeks later they go, "Brother Todd, I don't even know how we got through that. I don't know how I even moved through this." Well, that's God giving you wings. He gives you wings to fly over adversity. The reality of walking through some of the realities of this world are things that God knows it might not be time for us to try to walk through them, or we don't have that capacity, or He doesn't want us to. So he just kind of gives us wings, and we kind of go over it, and He just moves things in His providence that we don't even see, but they carry us over them. And then He talked about being able to run and not get weary. Old Don Chandler said he likened that to times of life where God puts an opportunity out in front of you that you got to run to. But how many opportunities have you missed because you didn't have the strength? You didn't feel like you could. There's an old saying in football that fatigue makes a coward out of everybody. If you get so weak that you can't run, then it doesn't matter what's available out there on that field. We can't pull it off. That's true everything from the military on down. And so we have to be able to have that strength to run to an opportunity. Right now, weird as it sounds, with this COVID-19 isolation and all these kinds of things, you've got some opportunities with your families you may not ever have again, with kids or friends and that kind of thing that you could run to, but you go, boy, I would if, but, and those kinds of things. And that's because our strength gets low. To be able to walk and not faint, that's most days. That's just living through life. The ability to just keep plugging, just keep going along. It comes from being able to have strength. So what he said, you have to renew your strength. If you look at that passage, that word renew, it literally means to exchange. And so in fact, it has the idea behind it of like two ships meeting out in an ocean, and one ship having supply and the other one being empty, and they meet, and then the supplies from one goes to the other, and that one is able to go off on its journey. And that's what happens when we meet with God. When we meet with the Lord, He, in His strength, He's rich in strength, it overflows Him, and He in His goodness, He pours it out into us, and we have the capacity to go through and deal with things that frankly are just way bigger than we are. But we have to have that meeting. We have to have that meeting. And so I'll encourage you with this, and I know I've been talking here a little bit, but make certain during this time, especially if you're starting to feel a little overwhelmed, or you're feeling like, I just can't do this, or man, I just don't know if I'm doing a good job mom and these kids right now, or daddy and these kids, or helping my family, or doing what I need to do in the church, or working with my life group, whatever it is. I want to encourage you to make sure you're having that renewing meeting. And so what can we do? Well, you make certain that you worship. Make certain that you worship. Whether it's as you read your Bible, whether you hum a song to God, whether in your prayer you spend time worshiping the Lord. There's an old acronym, ACTS, ACTS, adoration, confession, thanksgiving, and supplication. So when you pray, just make sure you're doing those four. Now, I use another acronym called CATS: confession, adoration, thanksgiving, and supplication, because I can't talk to God long He don't remind me of my sin. One of the things about being a kind of a bit of a prophet, not like a foretelling prophet, but a forthtelling prophet, is that God always makes you keenly aware of sin. If y'all have ever heard me preach, I'm going to bring up the subject. And so God brings it up with me. Physician, heal thyself. And so I'll confess, and then I try to spend time talking to God about who He is, talking to God about what I know I have in Him, and that fills our soul. Nothing like singing. I know you say, Brother Todd, it's the craziest thing in the world, trying to sit in church on Sunday morning in my living room with my kids and looking at me weird while I'm trying to sing with Brother Art and them's worship CD. You can do that, and that's a great thing to do. Ask the kids what's their favorite song from church. I guarantee you it's one of them they've heard. Let them get to sing it with them. And you say, well, Brother Todd sounds childish. Well, baby, we are all children to God. So He loves it when we get humble like children. So, but make sure you're worshiping. Make certain that you're spending time praying, that you're talking to God. When you have that meeting with God, A genuine prayer now, I'm just going to tell you, is you talking to God and God talking to you. Sometimes in prayer you need to be as silent as you are speaking, and just have that connection. Have that connection, because what he'll do is he'll not only renew your strength, he'll renew your focus, and so that you can separate things that don't matter that take you strength, and so that you have strength for the things that do matter. You know, when talking about football a while ago, when a player comes off field to get a break, you don't run around a circle around the bench, right? He gets his air so he can get back. You can't spend your time on things that don't matter. So if you'll spend time in prayer, God will renew that focus. And there's one other thing I really feel you, and that's the Word. If you think about it, that's what I opened up talking to you about. Where do we get direction today? Well, we get direction from the Word. It's in the Word that we get our encouragement. You know what? I can have strength to fly over my adversities. You know what? I can have the power to be able to run to my opportunities. You know what? I can be able to keep walking in the everyday. Why? Because God's made me promises. How do I know He's made me promises? I read them. Okay? So touch those things. Be in the Word, be in prayer, be in worship, and you just listen to Brother Todd. I'm telling you the truth. If in that, God will meet you, and as God meets you, you're going to get strength. And as you get strength, if you'll keep your focus on it, you'll be able to apply it to eternal work. Because listen, baby, let me tell you something. Raising them kids is eternal work. The type of people they're going to be right now is being shaped by you. The steering somebody, helping somebody, all that's eternal work. We work and pay these bills so that we can put effort into things that really matter. And again, the only thing going to heaven from this earth is the souls of men and women, boys and girls. So we want to be about it. And I know you do, and I know we're all trying. And but I've heard some of y'all a little bit discouraged. I heard some of you getting a little bit overwhelmed. And so all that tells me is the old devil is attacking you, and he's pulling that string. He's pulling that string. And what you just got to do is say, you know what, my God is able to supply all my need, and I'm not ignorant of Satan's devices, and I'm not going to be overwhelmed by them, and I'm not going to miss this opportunity. This is a tough time, but this is an opportunity we don't need to miss with our family, our church, and our friends. Well, preaching's over. I see I'm on 12 minutes. Ain't no telling how long this email thing's going to last. They told me the shorter you can make these things, the better they'll fly through the air, but I don't know. I don't even know why we called this Victory Minute at the start. We should have just went with moments. It's about to turn into Victory Hours. But anyway, love you. Hope to see you on the Victory Minute tomorrow. Bye-bye.